Hiya, I'm Jasper, and welcome to your video review for RockNRolla. It's a movie starring Gerard Butler, Tom Wilkinson, Idris Elba, Thandie Newton, Mark Strong, Tom Hardy, and Carell Roden. So, as always, I'm going to give the good, the bad, and the furry. To start off the furry, there isn't any. Moving on to the good and the bad. So, this is a Guy Ritchie film. It came out in 2008. And apparently I've never seen it. I think I've referred to it a few times, thinking that it was a different movie, but what I thought was going to be rewatched it, but apparently just watched it for the first time. And it's a fun time. I'd say I'd give it a thumbs up. It's not the best Guy Ritchie film out there. It's certainly not the best of any of these actors' films that's out there, but it's a fun time. I will say that it seems like it's a little bit lower of a budget movie, like maybe they just didn't spend as much on the film quality, because it's not home video style. It doesn't, like, it still has the good depth of field and all that jazz, but it's just a little bit softer focus and like almost a sepia tone throughout. Maybe I'm just, it's not like a heavy thing, but maybe it's just because that's what the advertisements had. But anywho, it's still good, but it's weird to see all of these actors just in 2008 what they were doing and how big their stardom was in this film. But they all are excellent in it. There's a reason that all of these actors and actresses became much bigger things and have moved on to bigger and better things, because they are excellent actors and they all kill it in this movie. Gerard Butler especially, it's basically his film, but it's fun to see him. I like Gerard Butler. I watch Gerard Butler basically do anything. I just also recently learned that apparently he was the Phantom in Phantom of the Opera, so now I gotta watch that film. But anywho, this film, it's a tight film. Guy Ritchie set in London type of thing, so there's a lot of it's very tight, because basically every character that has a speaking part plays into this overall scheme, with like this person trying to get this thing done, and then this person trying to get this thing done, and this one's trying to get this thing done, and they all happen to like cross paths, and like some of it's coincidental, odd circumstances, some of it's just how things are meshing up. But basically everybody who talks in this film has an agenda or has something happen to them that relates to the other thing, that pushes a thing in a way that you didn't see. So it's one of those type of films, and I like it. I don't think it's my favorite version of it, but from my vague recollections of Layer Cake, I liked Layer Cake better, but I liked how this came together. I think maybe a more modern thing that some of you might identify with is a Bullet Train. So Bullet Train, where like, oh, and it did like a flashback to like 15 years ago, this happened, or at this wedding this thing happened, and so that led to here and where these things were doing. So it's not at all formatted like Bullet Train in terms of the flashbacks and what have you, and how things are all interacting. But that kind of like, oh, this one innocuous thing led the rabbit trail over here to do this. I'm not a fan of Thandie Newton's smoking so much. I don't know if there's just some reference that I'm missing, but she always has a cigarette in her hand, like, all the time. And smoking's gross. And by 2008, we should have known that. So why have the like super desirable chick be smoking all the time? Because smoking's gross. It smells gross. Everything's gross about it. And Gerard Butler's character doesn't really smoke. So, whatever. That's just me. But, yeah, it's a fun time. I think there's a couple of like, okay, well, why did that happen? And that happened. Like, there's a couple instances of that, but for the most part, I'm just along for the ride and I enjoy it. I think it might be like a London-y thing, or maybe it's just a Guy Ritchie thing, where everybody has like a nickname. Maybe it's a carryover from Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels, but, Gerard Butler's character is called 1-2, and Idris Elba is called Mumbles, and like everybody has like a weird name, and I don't know if that was just like a really popular thing back then or over there, but okay, sure, because then you have other people just named like Lenny and Johnny, like, so why the weird names? But still a fun time if you're into the like fast talking and a couple of little mini Ocean's 11 type of like, we tell the thing or we see what happened type of thing. But now I'm going to get into spoiler territory. So spoiler alert, last chance to leave if you don't want spoilers for this movie. One of the things that I thought was odd is that Lenny, so Mark Strong's character, if I'm remembering the names correctly. There's a lot of names. Sorry, but so Mark Strong's character, he is always with Tom Wilkinson's character. So the guy who the mini mob boss for London, who's trying to work for the billionaire, right? So this guy, Mark Strong, is always with him, except for this one meeting that the mob-ish boss has with the billionaire guy in an abandoned golf course where just the billionaire and his buddy with the golf club are there. And I don't know when this was set, but it takes place in 2000, or I'm sorry, I don't know when it's set, but it was like it came out in 2008 when at least regular ass cell phones were a thing. So I guess you could argue that the mob boss guy is too important to bother with having a cell phone on him, but they really should have had cell phones on them, or him, so he wouldn't have to crawl across the entire 9 holes to get somewhere. So I thought that was a little funky. And then I always like the guy who plays Johnny Quaid. Like, I think I've seen him in a couple things, and I think that he is a great actor, and he definitely has abs in this one. It's a fun time for him. I think that they take a second during the like leg breaking scene there where he's like trying to make a point, and I think they get close, but I don't think they quite accomplish it. But it was still decent. It was still fun, and yeah. I mean, I think that's kind of the major spoilery thing. Also, maybe the bags that they were carrying when they run away with $3 million, I feel like were too small for $3 million. But, I haven't actually done the math on that. But yeah, that's really all I have for this one. Thanks for coming. Thanks for watching. Hope to see you the next one. Bye.